Welcome everyone to this month's AI webinar. And this month we're going to focus on Canva's new AI features. Canva did its normal annual drop of all the amazing new features that it's come out with. It's going to be really interesting to see when these are rolled out completely. My plan is to go through what the big ones are, the AI powered features, how it's going to change things for us, and then I will do some demos as well with the ones that I currently have access to. I'll walk you through and we'll have a look. I'll show you what I can because I have to say in the beginning, it takes a while. They're quite staggered in their rollout of these features. And I have to also say, sometimes when they first roll them out, they're a bit clunky, but they do get better very quickly. It's the same with any new tech, really. This year, it's been really amazing with some of the things that they've come out. It's going to make your experience with Canva just so much more intuitive. It's going to save a lot of time and just make it really easy. They've clearly listened to users about the really laborious parts of Canva. I'll show you what they've announced. It's called Canva Create. They do a big keynote, a big presentation. And so I've got a couple of snippets from that as well, where they explain the features and we'll just talk about what that will actually mean. So what's actually new? They've called it these things. They've called it start with an idea. It's all about being really intuitive and embedding and integrating AI throughout the whole platform of Canva. If you think about it, really, a few years ago when they first started to really put AI into its features, it was mainly just for some image editing and things like that. But now they've really lent into it. Also, they're going to make it so you can connect all of your apps through, and editing is going to be really seamless. There's all these different things that it can actually do. And they've added a lot more sort of AI power to a lot of the AI tools they already have as well. But I'm just going to really talk about these ones today. Firstly, and I'll demo this one soon. Basically, you can go in now to Canva. I think that at the moment, if we go over to the home page, there used to be the ability to just prompt it from the home page, but I think at the moment they're reworking this to launch the new features. But what you can do now is you can actually go into, say you want to create a Facebook post, and so you go into where it gives you the shape and the canvas for that, and then you can just prompt it in there what you want. I'll show you that in a second, and it's pretty amazing. The other thing is you'll be able to connect all your apps through, like I said. So it will be able to, if you want to do this, of course, there's always a security risk when you do this, but if you want to bring in your meetings and your emails and your Google Drive and all those sorts of things into it, it'll be able to go and access different materials for you. And I'll show you an example of how that can work for you too. The other thing is editing. So rather than you doing all the editing, you can just tell it and prompt it to do the editing. And I had to play with this also yesterday, and then it was pretty interesting. And then generating your own elements. So, before you could just really use what was there, and elements are things like, just say you want a pink donut, right? Just for an example. You could really just only change the colors and things like that. But now you can actually prompt the AI within Canva in the elements part to create whatever it is that you want, which is pretty cool. Also, they're bringing in a lot of branding stuff. So they've partnered with this other company, which I'll show you soon, that a lot of designers use. And it's going to mean that your brand will be so much easier to use, because at the moment you've got like a brand kit and things like that. You bring elements in, but it's just going to make it so much more intuitive. They're also adding web search and web research. So it means that now, because you couldn't do that before, when you wanted it to say generate something, or just say you wanted to include a statistic in a piece of content, it will actually find that statistic for you on the internet. I think that's pretty exciting, because normally you would have to go and find all that stuff and then bring it in, and now it can actually do it for you. The other thing is it's going to have memory, which is so good. Rather than you having to reprompt it over time and give it all the elements and things like that, it's actually going to remember use. You'll be able to actually personalize it so that you're not having to redo everything all the time, which is going to be really amazing. And the other thing is scheduling. You can actually schedule tasks, get it to, for example, put together the newsletter on a Monday morning at this time. And because it remembers what you want, and because it will be connected to all of your apps and things, it'll be able to like pull together a draft and have it there ready for you to have a look at. Pretty amazing stuff where it's going. It's just going to save so much time. Let's look first at, this is from Canva Create. So this is talking about how you can now use, you can just design things through conversation. And when I say conversation, it's not through like, they don't have voice yet where you can say GPT and Claude, you can actually talk to it. It's not that yet, but it's just, it means prompting. Let's have a look.
Canva AI 2.0, you can design through a simple conversation. Just describe what you want to create, share a rough idea, or even tell it your goal, and Canva AI will bring it to life.
Oh, yeah. So
let's Canva AI 2.0.
Sorry, I was playing around. So there we go. So you can just type in what you want, and it just starts to create it for you. And then you can also edit it as well. So once it does that, which is pretty cool. So we can play with that in a second. And so what it means, it's just now you can just write a prompt up. And so what I'm thinking, generally when I'm doing sort of image prompts and things like that, if you remember, if you came to the last webinar, I often use an AI tool like ChatGPT to create the prompts that I give to images. I'll probably experiment with that as well, I think. Why don't we have a play with that now? So if we go into Canva, now give me something you would like me to create. Why don't we do a social media post? Let's do a LinkedIn post. And so you can see here, it's just opening that. But if I click on here, Canva AI, it'll say here, what do you want me to design? I don't know, what sort of LinkedIn post should I design? Why don't we do, create an image, create an image to promote, I'll just say this webinar, sharing Canva's new AI features. There we go. And clearly the longer and the more detailed the prompt, the better the output's going to be. So let's just put this in and see what it does. And now it's doing it. If you have a look, let's see what it's come back with. And let's see if I like any of it. It's still preparing everything. It's done something. So this is without any, I never gave it any coloring. I never gave it colors or fonts or anything like that. It's just come back with that. Yeah, the other thing it can do is say, you can do the actual editing of it. I can say, so in the first design, change the blue to red and the person in the image to be a man. And so by doing this, it means that you're not having to really do it yourself. I'm looking forward to the day where it does voice and then you can just tell it what to do. But we'll see how it goes. And so before, yeah, so this is new, Michael. So this is coming through. Before, this wasn't actually available within here. Like you could create sort of images, but actually prompting it to create a full design wasn't there. And so you can see it's done that now. I've said change the red to blue, and then so you can actually just write in instructions now rather than having to go and find all the stuff yourself. That's one of the new things that's coming through. And this, you could be able to do this with any design. That's pretty fun. And the thing is, I don't want to get stuck playing on this because I'll take up all your time just experimenting. That's really good. You'll be able to do that in any design that you have, and any document or anything like that will make it so much easier telling it what to do. This is another example, like the example if you remember, I showed you about you could actually schedule to have your newsletter done and it will pull together files and information for you and actually create it on your behalf because you can schedule it. This is where they explain that in the keynote. Let me show you.
I'm so excited to show you how Canva AI's new connectors and scheduling help me turn chaos into clarity and make it look beautiful in the process. Every month, my team is responsible for collating all the good vibes across the business and turning it into an all-staff newsletter. Think part magazine, part here's all the incredible things that happened this month. The problem is, pulling it together used to take the better part of a week. Digging through Slacks, chasing people down for updates, trying to make sure nothing got missed. Turns out, a lot of you have experienced the same thing and have been wishing for a better way. Let me show you how Canva AI changes everything with just one prompt. I'll upload a brand template and ask Canva AI to create our April newsletter by populating this template with the latest team news from the past month across Gmail and Slack. Canva AI has activated connectors and it's sweeping through my apps, every Slack channel, every email thread. This step alone has saved me hours. It's automatically populating every club update, newbie fun facts, what's on this week, and it's beautifully designed right from the first draft. Now I can jump in and add the details only I'd know. An inside joke from the LA office, a shout out from someone's big moment I've just heard over lunch. I can also bring in the team to really craft the design. The AI-powered Elements tab lets us generate something custom, like a graphic for our good newsletter. But here's the part I love the most. This newsletter runs monthly, so now I schedule it. On the first Monday of every month, Canva AI automatically has a month's worth of good news stories ready and waiting for me, which means I have time to create so much more content. We can take a story from the newsletter and ask Canva AI to turn it into an Instagram post, then resize it for LinkedIn, or even turn the What's On section into a poster for the office, all from a simple conversation.
Now, I think that's amazing. I don't know about you, but as working in strategic communication and public relations, one of the hardest jobs is when you're, say, pulling together a newsletter or something for the website, is actually getting people to give you the stuff. And now, what it can do, if you're going to allow access, of course, is you'll be able to connect up your email, Slack, whatever sort of communication channels that you're using internally, and it will just go off and find that information and then give you a suggestion of what you could use as stories in the newsletter. And not only that, it'll do it, as I said, you could actually schedule it ahead of time. And so you can come into work on a Monday rather than having to go and find all that stuff yourself, have a rough draft there for you to be able to just to have a look at. Yeah, I'm not sure, Helen. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see what they're running on the back end. It's probably something like ChatGPT or something like that. But yeah, pretty amazing. All right, let's move on to this. Also, with that, just thinking about other ways that you could use it. So, not just for newsletters, but it can bring together, even if you're doing like annual reports or things like that, it will just be able to just find that information and bring it together. I think, though, it's going to be a bit clunky for a while, and it'll be interesting to see how it determines what is news and what is not news and what is useful information and what isn't. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I think it's all going to be in the way that you set it up. The next is the brand intelligence. This will be able to allow you to keep a even more consistent brand. The Canva templates at the moment are wonderful in terms of the brand kits and things like that, because you can just bring in a logo and then it identifies the font and it identifies the colors from the logo and all those sorts of things. However, this is going to take it even to the next level.
Canva brand kits are now connected to Affinity. This means you can craft with precision and create brand assets in Affinity, then move them seamlessly into Canva. And then you can set up brand templates for the entire business to use, so your craft stays consistent as you scale.
And that's where I come in. I've got a huge pitch coming up, and I need an on-brand deck by the morning. Normally, that means pulling an all-nighter and probably ruining the night of a designer like Tom. But now I can open Canva AI and type, create a pitch deck for a meeting tomorrow with Snowflake. They care about security, scale, and speed to market.
And very importantly, Larry's going to use the brand template. The deck is on brand from the very first slide.
I'll add a chart, and you'll love this. It'll automatically match the rest of the deck.
Love it.
Now, let's personalize it. Using Canva AI's new research powers, I just ask it to search for Snowflake's latest financial data, and it does the research right here. And it stays on brand with every new addition.
There you go. So not only can it allow for consistency of brand across the organization, and I'm finding now Canva's being rolled out into many large organizations, and that's the problem. The fact that when I think marketing and branding professionals are really worried about that because people can go off and create all their own things, and but this will allow a consistent brand across a large organization, and then using that sort of prompting throughout, it means that you'll be easily be able to create stuff that's on brand, and then searching the internet to be able to add in the information that you need as well. It's just going to make things so much faster and easier, and you'll be able to do more within the same platform rather than, as I said before, going off and finding things and then bringing them in. The next is Canva Code. So now Canva Code was launched in the last Canva Create, which was about this time last year, and it was pretty amazing. Like you could do things like create online quizzes to put on your website and calculators and web pages and things like that. And at the moment, they've taken it off because they're clearly improving it to then relaunch. This is going to show you what Canva Code 2.0 can actually do, so that the next iteration of it.
We know so many of you in our community are in the same position, wishing for a better way to manage all the moving pieces of a big event. Let me show you how I've been leaning on Canva AI. I've been using the new coding ability to create a fully interactive website from scratch. Not just any old website, something custom built that will make our guests feel part of our big day. I'll ask Canva AI to create a wedding website for me and Harriet. Include a section for guests to submit their favorite wedding songs. I'll upload some images for inspiration. Without having to code a thing, our first draft can track RSVPs, document all the essentials, and even build a playlist with the help of our family and friends. From here, I can jump into the editor to make sure all the details are just right, and we're ready to publish. Let's leave a song request, shall we? Any ideas? Some good suggestions. It's all connected to a Canva sheet. So every RSVP and song submission is automatically logged. But that doesn't mean every submission will automatically get played.
Yeah, you get the idea. You can just put in a prompt and it will create things. And not only that, it'll have different sort of widgets in there that will do different things in the web page. What this means is, particularly with the coding side of things, you don't need to know how to code, but it's really going to come down to your own imagination about what you want to build and how you want to build it. And I would recommend refining your prompts in maybe another AI tool to get what you want. That's what I find. While Canva Code is really good, it's like any AI tool. If you're going to prompt it, you need to give it very specific, clear prompts and provide context. With that example, how she actually provided images and contextual things for the AI to draw on and then create more of what she wanted. Because if you don't have that really clear instructions or the context, you'll go back and forth. It'll get very frustrating. You'll still need some things to gather some things, of course, before you go and use Canva Code. Next is how it all works together. So they've given an example of how all these different elements could actually work and support each other in different tasks on Canva. So I'll show you that now.
Canva AI 2.0 fixes that whole process. Instead of one-shot generation, you can now generate designs that are editable layer by layer. From jumping between many tools to agentic capabilities inside the one workflow. from disconnected brand guidelines to on-brand designs. Data scattered everywhere to data connected. No more searching the distant reaches of the web, because now your research comes to you. And you won't lose context between apps, because Canva AI now remembers how you work. All in one conversation, no matter what format you're designing. And finally, for those tasks you repeat again and again, you can schedule them so the work doesn't stop when you do. Individually, each of these capabilities is incredibly powerful. But an orchestra isn't defined by its instruments. It's defined by what they create together.
Okay, we're not going to the instrumental, but but yeah, what it means, I just think it means that you'll be able to spend more time on Canva without having to pull things in. I just love the scheduling side of things. The thing that I'm finding though, it's being comfortable with it, any AI tool having access to your emails and all of the information that you normally need to make it more specific and usable for you. And that's a real paradox I'm finding, that you get better outputs when you do that and you allow it to have access, but then you've got to think about the security and the privacy measures around that as well. Do you really want it to have access to your email? Do you want it to have access to your Slack conversations? It will work for better outputs, but you've got to be very careful, particularly within your organization, around approved tools and the different policies you have for AI in your organization, just to make sure that you're not doing anything against those. But if you're working for yourself and you have complete freedom, I know I will be definitely checking it out, not for my university role, but definitely for my as director of Dharana Digital for sure. As I said, they're going to take a while to roll this out. And what I find is that it's staggered. They tend to do it in countries as well. It might take a little while to get everything, but you'll just start noticing bits and pieces. This is here, and they normally have a little new button above it to show that something is actually new. There's a couple of things I want to show you that are new that you may not have seen yet. Let's go over to Canva now and have another play with it. What I wanted to show you first is this new magic layers feature, which is quite new. They didn't announce it in the thing, but it was. So let's look at this photo here. It looks at the images you've already uploaded for previous designs. Let's go in here. And so what's happening now is that the AI is focusing on the image. I think I need to go to, where are we? There we go. I think we're in the right spot now. So you can see how the AI is running over it. What it's doing, it's identifying all the different elements in the image. And pretty soon I'm going to be able to move and change anything in that image, which is good, but also it might be a bit scary as well. So now you can see how it's got all these different squares on there. So it means that, for example, here's me behind the lectern. I don't have any feet because it couldn't see that, but it just assumed that it could see like I had black pants on. So I could put myself over here. This, or this text, I could actually change that to be to whatever I want there. I could move this chair over here. I could move these two people over here. It's broken up all the layers and separated things so I can move things around in the photo. And this is just a normal photo. So it means that any photo that you bring in and use this layers feature, it means you can change anything in that image, which is pretty amazing. I will just go in. We'll do another LinkedIn post. I like LinkedIn, clearly. So we'll go in there. The other thing I wanted to show you was that, so we've got elements here. So there's nothing there that I really want, but what I can do is I can generate something. So describe my ideal element. I don't know. I'm going to do that pink donut because I'm clearly I'm pink donut. So it's got it here, but I want to actually create it. But I could be a bit more specific. I could say pink donut with, I don't know, gold sparkles and a unicorn on it. I'm getting very fancy. So let's go generate that. While this is a silly example, it means that if you're like, because sometimes I've spent hours trawling through the elements trying to find that perfect thing or that perfect color. And now I can just describe what I want. And there it is. I'll make it bigger. There we go. So there's my pink donut with gold sparkles and a unicorn on it. So that's pretty exciting for me. I'm just looking now in the chat. This is awesome. Is it available in the current Canva or only the beta version? Now, look, I don't know, Lee. I know I have access to it, but sometimes I know I've been given access to some things, but I would have a look in your Canva and just see if it's there. It's on when you first get to the first dashboard. It should be underneath, like where you've got all the options underneath the sort of search bar. I would check there, definitely, and see if it's there. And if you don't have it yet, it won't be long. How does that tool compare to existing for photo manipulation? Look, what I like about Canva is it can do a lot of different things in terms of the editing of images that I don't think the others can do as well yet. What I tend to find with tools like Nano Banana and those sorts of things is you can do some editing, but often it's just recreates the image with the way that you want it. But with Canva, you can change the existing image by moving things around, changing backgrounds, and you can actually click on elements and get rid of them and change them that way. It depends on what you're after. I find in terms of, I'm not sure if you saw the last webinar, which was all about AI and images. My favorite AI image tools with Nano Banana, but I've been playing with ChatGPT because that came out with a new image tool last week, and that's pretty good too. That is very good as well. And I still play with Midjourney a little bit. In terms of actual generating images, I think they're still a bit better than Canva, but in terms of editing existing images, I think Canva is really good. Absolutely. They're just some new features that I wanted to share with you. But I just want to talk about quickly before we get to questions and things. The next webinar is going to be about using AI for customer and market research, using it and using agents and using deep research to come up with customer personas and things like that to really help you to better understand your customers and different markets for your business. That will be on the 25th of May, which I will share the link on my LinkedIn and everything, and you'll get it via email if you're subscribed to our email list. And then just some other little things. I do have a Facebook community that's absolutely free, and there's the QR code there on the right. Now, with that, it's a place where I share different AI tools and articles and the webinars, and I do a live every Friday afternoon just talking about what's happened in AI this week. And there are a lot of discount offers on other sort of workshops and things as well. And then on the left is I'm doing another AI integration sprint. Basically, I'm helping, they're more like senior leaders who run teams to do that strategy work to integrate AI into their team. So that's on May 11th to the 28th, in 3 weeks, and it's certified by the AI Center of Excellence. You get a certification at the end of that. That's it for this month. I think it's getting much more intuitive, which is really good. I like the fact that it's going to remember you, so you don't have to keep explaining. I like the fact that you'll be able to prompt it. But as I said, if it could get to voice mode, I think that would be awesome, because then you can just talk to it and get it to design things for you. Good. Thanks for watching. Bye.